Remember 64 is part of the SuperPod Podcast Network. Oh yeah, we are teamed up with a whole bunch of awesome people that some you may have heard on Remember 64 already, but there's a bunch of different great gaming shows, anywhere from Fine Time to Bar Silence to Retro Wildlands. You can, of course, find the SuperPod Saga on there, Press B to Cancel, all of these awesome shows that are just here to talk about great times with games, share their thoughts with you, our experiences with you. Check us out, SuperPod Network, on your podcast app of choice, and superpodnetwork.com, where you can find all our shows, blog posts, videos, and more.
It's harvest time again. Only this time, the crop is you. Introducing Body Harvest for Nintendo 64. Welcome to the bottom of the fruit chain.
Welcome to Remember 64, where this week we are going back in time to exterminate. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. Hello again, if you're returning listeners and viewers, and welcome if this is your first time joining us. A little bit of a relaunch after we've been away for a little bit. So you may have heard our previous episode, Mickey's Speedway USA, but 2025 is here if you are listening to this when it releases, and I just want to let everybody know that my name is David Petrangelo, and I am a super soldier, but I'm taking my time. An alien invasion, you say? No problem. Just let me light a couple candles. I'll set the mood. I'll chat to this local shaman and take a joyride in this tank. Okay, now I'm good. Let's squash some bugs. With me, of course, this time is Jiggylookback. Hello.
Hello, I'm here. And I am not a super soldier. However, I did find this really cool shield that seems to be able to reflect sunlight and light things on fire. So let's go light some crap up.
Woo! We'll get to it. That weapon is just OP like crazy. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's perfect.
It is perfect because you kind of need it. Okay, so if anybody did not pick up on that, makes sense. It's pretty vague, but that was fun. Body Harvest. We are talking about Body Harvest from Midway. It's a little bit of a sort of weird way that this game kind of came about. Body Harvest came out in 1998. I wrote down a really brief explanation because it's better in these words than my own. Body Harvest is a 3D shooter that lets players take on an invading army of space bugs across multiple time zones, from 1916 to the aliens' homeworld in 2046. So, Jiggy, we are getting close to the alien homeworld, in case you didn't know. We're almost there.
Oh, I knew.
Yeah.
With the drones in Jersey and like all that weird stuff going on, like for sure. Plasmoids, I'm here for it.
Yeah, right?
I'm ready to do some alien hunting. I've been preparing for this over the past couple days.
And we have arrived. Mm-hmm. Before we dive into the game itself, I just want to remind everybody, I mentioned just a minute ago that the show was on a bit of a hiatus. If you didn't know, great. Hi, we're here. No problem. If you did, I had a kid last year in 2024, middle of the year. So I took some time off, 6 months pretty much. Now the show's back. But that also means that I have a couple of new ways I want to sort of reformat some of the Patreon page for the show, maybe do some new ideas for the actual podcast itself. So just a reminder, if you want to toss a buck or two our way, Remember 64 show on Patreon. You'll be able to support the show financially, or you can actually sign up for free, because some stuff does pop in there for free as well. But for just like $1 a month, you can get some pre-show chats of us just literally shooting the shit. If you're listening to this episode, you will be able to understand what that means more specifically. So please do check that out if you haven't already. Jiggy's laughing. I had to. It was just too easy.
Great.
I had to set myself up. I will not explain what it is. You'll have to listen. Also, episodes early as well. And I'm going to do something new. I'm stealing ideas from other people out there, but I'm going to try and put out some polls every 2-3 months, something like that, like realistic time frame of games that I haven't played, specifically retro games. I'm going to see if patrons want to vote on what I will play, and I will review them, non-N64 titles. So it could be Game Boy, it could be NES, it could be old PC games. I'm just going to sort of throw like 3 or 4 out there for every poll. I'll put them on the Patreon page on social media, and whatever gets most votes, I will play. I will do a mini review, and I'll put it up on the page as well. So remember 64 Show on Patreon and across social media as well. But enough about that, Jiggy. Let's start with Body Harvest. My question to you, as always, as I do for most of these games, I would say, did you play this game? Did you ever experience it? Is this the first time? You're shaking your head. So no, this is the first go ahead.
This is the first go ahead. This is one of those games. There's been a couple that I've seen it like all my life growing up. Never played it. I just like it's everywhere, and I just never played it. And is it rated M?
That's a great question. I have it up right now. I believe it is T for teen.
Okay, T for teen. Okay, because I was like, if it was rated M, that would explain why I never played it. But
oh, that's fair.
I just never played it.
Yeah, that's fair. There's not a lot of M-rated games on this console, or honestly in this generation. There's a few on PlayStation and stuff, but I would say more on PlayStation. But I think around late '90s, obviously the ESRB ratings kind of came through with Mortal Kombat and stuff only a few years before this and everything. So for something to be rated M, I think would be pretty rare at the time. This, I could see maybe they'd play it safe and do something like that, but the box art that I have pulled up right now has a T on it. So
yeah, it probably was T for teen.
Yeah,
this is a game I actually think my dad would have really liked had he played it, because he loved science fiction, like any sci-fi sort of alien related stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's kind of funny because I was thinking of him when I'm playing this game, and I also coincidentally also thinking of Metroid while I'm playing this game because you look like Samus, and I could not get it out of my head.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's true.
Every time I saw my character, I was like, I look like Samus, except not fully armored, and I'm missing my gun, which is like the coolest part.
Yeah, right. The arm cannon. But he's got his pecs exposed, man.
Yeah, he's got his other guns exposed,
he's got his natural guns. I also didn't play this. It's one of those ones where I saw it enough, like you did, and I feel like I saw it enough that like, oh, I played that first level, but I think I just saw it a bunch of times, and it's one of those like, 25 years ago, I saw it enough that I just told myself that I had my hands on the controller, but I don't know. I don't actually know. I think this would be the first time that even if I did play it, I got past the first, level, if you want to call it that, or stage. 'Cause it's not a super simple setup, I would say, for how the game plays and how it tells you what you need to do and stuff. So there's a lot of really like convoluted ways that this game explains what's going on, how you do it, how it controls, like a lot of that stuff. So we'll get into the details of that, but I think it's an interesting setup. So like the game, it's an interesting idea. I just don't know if the execution of the story works. So basically aliens you're going back in time to stop an alien invasion that's happening during the current day, which I believe the current day in this is that 2046 date. Isn't that what it is? Like you're going back to Greece. You're going back to things like that. So it's like
it's 2016, and then you go back to like 1941, and
you go back
you're going back.
Every time you go to a new like sort of world or group of stages, if you want to call it that, it's a different time.
Yeah, it's like history. You're a super soldier. You're like a genetically mutated soldier trained to fight these things.
Yeah.
And you are traveling back because this alien race of like spider-like weird bug creatures has eaten all of humanity basically.
Yeah.
And you're like one of the last few remaining survivors, and you go back in time to try and like thwart them in their invasion, like from the beginning, essentially.
That's basically what it is. That's why you're going back to all these different timelines, and the whole like the name of the game, Body Harvest, is the aliens harvesting humans. So that's what that is. And if you look at I think there's two different covers. I think it's the North American cover is the one that has like a big bug sort of wrapped around Earth. That's what that is the bugs taking over Earth, like you said, wiping out humanity. So yeah, you're going back in time to try and stop it from happening in the first place. That's basically the story.
Isn't it something goes wrong and like your comrades die or something, or you have to find your comrades or something like that?
Yeah,
you're the only one left.
Yeah, you're the only one left. The only thing that kills me, and I sort of like, this is sort of part of the whole super soldier thing that I mentioned off the top, is like, you're a super soldier, but this guy just crawls
Super slow.
He's so slow. I don't know. I don't really recall off the top of my head. Like, I wish there was a run button, or like sprint or something. Just
so slow.
Even if you had stamina, that's fine. I don't love that idea in games, especially like older ones. You're just not implemented great. But like anything, like just anything to just be able to walk or run a little bit faster would be nice. Like, you got this big bulky orange armor. You have a gun that he decides to always put away when you're inside because I guess safety first. And you're like just chilling. He's kind of just like going for a little walk, going for a stroll.
I think the armor actually does play a factor into the way he moves. Like if this armor was put on a normal human, it probably wouldn't be able to move at all. Because you go into
video
like
game with bugs that you have to kill. Come on.
But I'm just, this is I got to analyze and overthink it. Okay. It's what I do.
Yeah.
But you go into water, and you're basically just like sinking immediately.
Yeah. And it tells you that. It tells you that your suit weighs you down. It actually says that.
Yeah.
When you first go in water and stuff. So
I don't think I knew that, but that's great. I'm glad
the little like text bubble that pops up at the bottom of like your boss.
Oh yeah, I barely read that ever. Yeah.
Me too, but I was trying to like I had a hard time sort of figuring out what to do sometimes, so I was just like, what did that person say? What did they say? Like, that kind of thing. Yeah, okay. So I'm sort of jumping all over the place and stuff. But basically, I would say that this is an early version of a semi-open world game. There's a big map that gets bigger as the game goes on, and you're in different, like we said, timelines, which are defined by like locations. One of them is Greece, I think, is where you start, and then you go to like the tropics or something, and then you go to the U.S., and then you go to the alien homeworld, and what's the other one? Is it Russia? Oh, Siberia. That's what it is. One of them.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
So that's how they're all split up, and you basically like you do have objectives from A to B and things like that, and like your boss, like I said, with text bubble sort of tells you what you need to do, or you can pull up your map and sort of have a general idea of where you need to go, and you're just trying to find a way to get from A to B and eventually get to the boss of that section. And there's like 3 or 4 sections per timeline, essentially. You can kind of go anywhere you want, but if you go anywhere you want, you're kind of just wasting your time as well, because there's not really much to do, because it's pretty sparse. It's pretty bare. I don't know if you found that too.
It's barren.
Yeah, barren.
Absolutely. So the team that made this went on to make Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah.
So it's got these bare bone Grand Theft Auto 3 like structure to it.
Ideas, yeah.
But where it gets really weird is because Nintendo like had a hand in this game. They pushed for it, and they were like, okay, and essentially what happened is they showed them a build of it, and Nintendo was not happy.
Yeah,
Nintendo's like, no. Yeah. And they sent like a team, and then they flew them out to like Nintendo headquarters, and they were like trying to, that's why you get these weird, they wanted an RPG. Is basically what they wanted. They wanted an RPG.
They wanted to turn this into, even if it was open world or something, I can't remember what terminology I read with it. Yeah. They wanted this to be more of an RPG. Yeah.
So rather than focus on the entire open world aspect, you get these weird RPG elements, of going inside buildings, of
Right.
solving really simple puzzles, opening chests. I
Lighting
don't know.
candles.
Yeah, and
I
it's
don't I
really
I don't
basic.
know what the deal is, but this game is obsessed. It has a separate mechanic that, as far as I can tell, every once in a while there's a torch that is like a switch instead of you lighting it.
Yeah.
Other than that, anything that looks like it can be lit, like a candlestick, I think not the fireplaces, but any kind of like candlestick or anything that looks like you can touch it and light it with a
Turn it on, turn it off.
turn it on. You can do that. What's the reason? No idea. If a place is dark, you can still see in it. So what's the light do? It just gives you a little glow. That's it's so random. It's so random. Like I
I'll
don't
do you
get
one
it.
better.
Yeah,
I'll do you one
please.
better. The most useless mechanic in this game, by far.
Okay.
At least I did not use it at all. But you go inside, you can do a sidestep
Oh.
with the C buttons. And I'm like, what is the purpose to this sidestep? You walk into a building, you can walk all around in every direction.
Yep.
But if you use the C buttons, you can like face forward and step to the side, almost like you're doing like a little shimmy. But there's no purpose for it.
There's no purpose because there's never anything like attacking you.
You don't have to squeeze
Inside?
through something. You don't
Nope.
have to. It makes no sense.
It's so weird. I think because, and the sort of the extension of that is the reason why I think maybe the reason why it's there is because when you're shooting, I don't know if you even did this. I didn't do it because I found like it
You
just
can like roll.
yeah like my hands just got like all
Yeah.
fumbled when I was doing it. When you shoot only when you're actively shooting, not when you're standing there or running, but you actively have to be firing a weapon. You can do a little roll to sort of dodge some enemy projectiles or whatever. All it does is stop you from shooting, and it just honestly just makes things more clunky. And I think it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same buttons, so I think they just did it inside, but with no weapons. That's it. That's pretty much it. Like,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
you're right. That is more
The
useless because
leftover.
at least the candles or the candlesticks every once in a while there's a switch, and it
Yeah.
opens up like a secret thing. The inside stuff that is the thing that was like, oh, they're trying to do an open world exploration sort of thing. So I didn't hate the idea. I just didn't, that implementation didn't.
I was actually thinking in my head
Yeah.
when I was playing this. Okay, so I was going like into the buildings, out of the buildings, and I'm like, do I like this? Or do I not? Like, I had no definitive, like, I hate this or I like this. It was, like, very, like, the idea of it is cool, and I like the vibe of how it looks when you go inside. Like, the frame rate gets a little higher. Like, it has, like, it has a very Zelda-esque vibe to it, which I liked.
Has a different camera
But
angle.
Yeah, it's different. It's almost like a totally
trying.
different game.
They're trying.
It's so bizarre, but there's no definitive, like, is this bad or is this good? It's just really basic. So, and it doesn't take too much of your time. So you're kind of just like, okay.
Yeah. Every
I
once in
accept
a
it, I guess.
while, there's a building that is a little bit off the beaten path that you'll open a couple chests and you'll get extra ammo out of it. One of them, I can't remember if it was the tropics one or if it was in the Greece stages. I found the shotgun there. And I don't know, I can't remember how close I was to that, like the objective at the time or whatever, but it felt like I stumbled across this weapon, which is kind of cool because most of this game is like, oh, you only really find things if you're close to where you need to go or if you're fighting the enemies or whatever. It kind of felt like I stumbled upon it and I was like, oh, that's rare for this type of game at this time and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of fun. But it was like the one time. And I played through, oh man, I want to say like 70% of this game, I would say, because it takes a while.
It's long.
It takes a while.
And it's in Greece. I found the machine gun, which I think it was just on camera, but
Yeah.
this
This is not me playing because
same
I had to play this game on this is someone else playing on YouTube. I played it on Steam Deck because I was and emulated it because
gotcha.
I started playing it during the holidays and I just didn't have access to the 64 at the time. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to play it on this or whatever.
Gotcha.
And tried to do the recording gameplay thing on that, and it only lets you
Didn't quite
record
work.
like 1 minute at a time. I'm like, well, that's not gonna
Okay.
help. So, anyways, other people have played this and probably more efficiently than me, so this is probably even better than what I was doing.
Yeah, the guy's pretty efficient.
Yeah,
But he did find the machine gun, which I did find too, and it's kind of cool. You go into a cave and then there's like a bunch of chests and you open them up. But honestly, your base weapon's pretty effective,
I thought so too. Your pistol's like, it's fine,
and it's infinite ammo.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Yeah, that makes sense. The thing is with it is that you know, I think you mentioned the Nintendo wanted to turn this into an RPG and stuff, and the company that made it, was it DAM? No, DMA Design.
DMA.
That's what it was. They wanted to make this more action oriented, which I would say it probably is more than RPG. And I think part of that is, you know, making sure that you have a number of weapons and making sure you can be productive with them and all that, you know, making it rewarding or whatever. And part of the decision that they made, or part of, you know, whether it's the limitations of the hardware or the cartridge or whatever, I don't know, or it's just the design choice, is that you lock on to what you're shooting pretty easily, I would say. So having the pistol that has infinite ammo is kind of pretty good, especially early on. Like there's some larger enemies, and especially the bosses, I would say later on, that you do need to use other weapons, but really it's just more effective and doesn't take as long, is really for the most part. So I think it's fine to have other weapons. But then you get that shield that you mentioned, which is in Greece.
Yeah. The shield is great. You just light everything on fire, and it's just like, it's so fast too. It's basically like having picture Iron Man's like unibeam. You just have that like at any time, and you can just hold it for as long as you need to kill your enemy.
Yeah, and
it's
it
fantastic.
shoots further than any of the bullets do too. So you can like hit guys from way further away, and it's like, oh great, yeah, no problem, got this. Unfortunately,
and
you only get it
when you're
in
like
the
running
Greece.
around with it.
Yeah, I used it the entire time once I got it. I was like, wait, this thing is unlimited. I can just hold on to the button the whole time, and I'm just, all right, great, sure, I'll do it. You know, unfortunately, like basically every timeline, every area has its own version of that, but that was by far the most effective one because the stages aren't quite as difficult, and you can just run around with that thing and just literally burn through a lot of the enemies and stuff like that. So, did you like any of the other weapons, or just whatever?
Kind of whatever, kind of iffy. I don't know. I didn't hate having a variety of weapons. I can tell you I did hate the dynamite that you get at the beginning, or the TNT, whatever it is.
Oh my god.
Because it's awful, because you just like set it down, and the first time I set it down like, obviously this big rock in Greece. I'm just like, okay, I clearly got to put the TNT here.
You got to
like,
blow it up.
You know, it's obvious.
Yeah.
And you set it down, and I like got a fair distance away, but like I could still see it. And then it blew up, and it like basically almost killed me. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh, it killed me the first time. It killed me.
I was just like, I had like a sliver of health left, and I had to go like find health somewhere. And of course, there's like, okay, I got to talk about this because it's kind of annoying to me how frequent the enemies are. I felt like the enemies spawn in so fast. Like as soon as I get done killing a group, another group shows up immediately, and I'm just like, oh.
So there's two ways that the enemies sort of like happen, I guess. They just spawn out of nowhere, like in the middle of the road while you're driving. Mm-hmm. The only quote unquote advantage to that is if you drive towards them and you see you're kind of going the right way. It's almost like an indicator, like, oh, this is the direction you need to go. They're spawning enemies on the route to where your next objective is, even if you don't really know which way you're going yet. So I thought it was like, okay, I kind of realized like once I got to the second set of stages, like that's kind of what they were doing there. And then there's the body harvest ones where a big group, like a huge group of them, is all sort of around a town usually. Yeah. There's a bunch of people running around and stuff. But anyways, go ahead. You were talking like it was just sort of didn't really work because it was just too frequent. It was just too much.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. And I enjoyed killing them. Like, don't get me wrong. It's a big mechanic of this game. Like, it is the game, basically.
It's the game. Yeah.
But if you're like me, okay, let me just say, so in this game, you're going to be doing a lot of driving and a lot of looking at your map, trying to figure out. For me, I look at the map, I'm trying to figure out my orientation.
Yes, constantly.
Because
me too.
Constantly.
Yeah.
There is a compass. Which I don't know why I didn't really. It just didn't feel right. There's something about it.
The thing is, there's this sort of like middle ground that the game struggles with. I think is that you pull up your map and it points, like, immediately when you pull it up, it shows you and tells you where and what your next objective is. Cool, great. You don't have to search for it. Kind of gives you an idea. Oh yeah, it's a little bit north. It's a little bit south. All right, that's not out of the ordinary. That's fine. The issue is that when you get away from your map, it's just a compass, and the only thing that pops up on the compass is green dots, which are other vehicles, and just vehicles. I think I don't even think the humans are green. I can't even remember anymore. And then the red dots, which are enemies. So the problem is there's not even like an indicator or an arrow to say like, oh yeah, you need to generally go this direction or this direction, because the roads are all over the place. So you're like potentially driving in circles, and sometimes you have no idea, and you're always referencing your map, always pulling up the map, because it's the only way you know to orient yourself. It's exactly what you said.
Every single pathway, every single road branches off multiple times.
Yeah.
So even if you're like, oh, I need to follow this road to get to this point, you'll at some point reach a divergence, and you'll almost inevitably choose the wrong one.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible. And to add to further confusion, sometimes enemies show up, and when there's enemies that are in the air, there's an arrow that pops up on screen and actually points toward the enemies. So you think, because I did this at least the first couple times that it happened, I'm like, oh, that's the direction I need to go. The game's telling me this is the way.
Totally fair.
No, it is not the way. No. It is not the way.
It's just where the harvest thing is happening. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the weird part about it.
I spent a lot of time looking at my map, and I don't like it. And it's a slow like load to the map.
It takes its time.
So you pause it, and it does like a public access, like cheesy, like the screen shrinks and like zooms out, and then the other one zooms in, and then the map itself actually looks dope as heck.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's like it'll show you like an overhead like Zelda style view, but then you can also like zoom in on yourself, and it's sort of like semi 3D, like you're 3D on this environment.
It's almost like a game board, like you're playing a board game or something, right? Like
it had a cool style. I really liked how the map looked, but
but if it was if there was a shortcut to pulling it up, instead of saying start, move over, press map, wait for the sort of PSA animation, as you call it, which is totally exactly what it is. I think so. And that's, it's just, I don't know, it's just a function of style at the time, maybe some limitations. I'm not really sure what that choice is. I think I would be okay with that wonkiness of it if I didn't have to open it as many times, because I could maybe just have a general direction on the compass that would tell me, it tells you which way you're facing, but there's still no way to know which general way you need to go until you keep referencing the map. And that's, not only does this guy run slowly or lightly jog to his destinations, that slows the game down too, because you're constantly looking. You're constantly pulling it up. It's over and over and over again that you need to do it. And there's not much you can do. That's just what you do. That's just how it goes. Oh, this guy lit a candle. Look at that. The church just got brighter.
Yep. It's just how you play the game.
It's just what you do. He's just trying to be nice. He's just trying to be a nice guy.
If you could just set a custom marker, which I know is, I don't know what the first game was to have a custom marker, that would have just changed the experience for me.
That's a good point.
Because you spend a lot of time, and let's be honest here, this game looks poopy. I mean, it's very dated.
Yeah.
It's very, very early. Like, this game started development in, I think they said 95.
Yep, 95.
Which would be understandable, but then the game didn't release till what, 99?
98.
So it had
98.
98.
So, but still.
It had a very long development cycle. But if it had released like one of the first like N64 games, like one of the first few of that batch, it would have been like more understandable, like
Yeah.
how this game looks. But this game released like the year Banjo released, and like
yeah, right. Oh my god, yeah. If you compare it
you know,
to games like that are just full of extra color and character and like
life
yeah,
animations, it's just and it's very foggy.
oh
If
yeah,
you like if you
fog
like
everywhere.
that 90s 3D game fog, like this game's got it in
Yeah.
spades.
I
It's
think
great.
they can get away with it though because you're in these no,
Well,
especially the second area, which is like the sort of tropical forest thing. You know what it reminded me of when we talked about GoldenEye?
Turok?
Oh,
Oh.
Turok, yes. But like GoldenEye was the first one I thought of. What's the name of that stage where you fight? What's her name on the bridge?
Zanya Onatop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminded
Yeah, I
me
know.
of.
I know exactly what stage you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of it is,
called,
but it because it has the same sort of dark green and the tree, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, Turok is probably a better
it's just
example.
it the draw distance is just. I don't know if they could have worked on it to make it just slightly more.
Teeny
I feel
bit
like I'll be
more.
following a pathway, and it's very close to like my vehicle, and especially if you're in a vehicle that has like a lot of speed, like a bike, say,
Yeah,
like you're flying through, and it just I don't know. It feels like you just need to be able to see a little bit further. I know that's console limitations
that's
and
all
stuff
it
like
is.
that, but I feel like I've played games that look better than this that don't have this issue.
absolutely,
that-
100%. I think it is the limitation thing because if you think about it, I mean technically there's no quote unquote load screen, right? And you're on this
That's true.
pretty
the map.
big map and the map is technically the load screen, I guess. Yeah. Just like God of War made the big thing in 2016 to hide all the load screens. This is how they did it in Body Harvest, I guess.
Yep.
Just pull up your map. It's probably
That's a fair point. There is no like
there's no
loading
stall in
between
any of the
areas, so-
action at all, I think. I mean there's a stall because you're going to a menu and stuff, but that doesn't change because you're in a new area. Like even when you defeat a boss and you're going and they pull down like a beacon and you can hit save, it's not like you reset things. They have like a little scene that sort of sets the next area up. No, you just continue where you just were, where you're just standing or sitting in your vehicle, and you keep going. And then it just pulls up the next area of the map for you. And then all 3 or 4 sections of that same timeline, like we're watching the opening areas, the grease levels now, it's all connected. You can go back. When you get to the 3rd section of this, you can go back to the beginning of it where you started the game if you wanted to. You'd get nothing out of it because there's nothing there for you anymore. But technically, as the map gets bigger, you're just able to access more. And the fog thing is completely understandable. I don't disagree with you, but I still think it's impressive that you can do that. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it is like the scope of the game is something to consider for
That's
sure.
it, scope, yeah.
But I hate to say it. I compare it a lot to Jet Force Gemini just because it's a
Okay.
similar.
Sci-fi
It's very
and bugs.
it's sci-fi. It's bug killing. You're on other planets. You're an armored person. It's a third-person shooter. It's inferior to Jet Force Gemini in just about
Yes.
every way. The one edge it has, though, it does have something that is better,
Okay.
and that is vehicle mechanics.
Yes,
The
that is
vehicle
okay. So that
mechanics
is like
themselves
one of
are
the
dope.
biggest. That's one of the biggest things with this game is like I can talk about and make fun of how slow this guy runs all I want.
Yep.
Right, and it pains me. I think it's stupid. The maps are so big. Give him just a tiny clip
Double
more.
speed.
Double speed, 0.5 more speed.
1.5. Yeah.
Anything, right? God forbid you actually do sidestep inside because it's the slowest thing I've ever seen in my life. But a huge part of this is you can get around in a bunch of different vehicles, even in the opening stages. So, did you have favorites, or were there ones that were like, "Fuck yeah, this is the one"? Like,
Well, I like the tank that he's driving right now.
tank, yeah, the tanks are pretty fun.
And
There's a few
I
different
like
ones
the
too.
tank. Yeah, I didn't like the one that's like. I didn't like the one that has like just the big track wheels, and it doesn't really look like it has like a big cannon on top. It's kind of a weird. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're
It's like triangle
sitting
shape.
inside it instead of on top
Yeah.
like this guy is. So what's crazy about that one too,
I
and
didn't like that one.
maybe it was the same for this one too, when you shot the cannon, it actually pushed your vehicle back. There was physics to it.
Yes, there was physics to it, and it was a slow shot. It was like a
Yes.
boom, and it did have an impact.
Yeah.
But like this tank could go like boop, 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 like a turret,
And it moves faster.
It moved faster, and it was way more durable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is pretty much like better in every way, except for
that's
having
what
like
it is.
not a strong shot.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I personally really like the tank, and I loved bikes in general. Like just flying around on a bike was the best thing.
Yeah, the bikes are great because I don't know if it's because it's like just great that you know you can you can like go much faster. Like there's just noticeably
It goes
faster.
so much faster, and I was flying. So the hills and stuff.
Yep.
The physics on the hills kind of messed up. Like you can't just like get out of your vehicle and like run up them. Like you might be able to, but you kind of like maneuver and like angle it. It's kind of like it just doesn't feel quite right.
You have to cheese it a bit. Yeah.
And like other vehicles, like the tank is not getting up over hills. But as a bike, sometimes you get enough speed that you could be like, or if you're on top, you can just go over everything.
Yeah.
And you just go flying.
There was one point where I was
awesome.
in like a Jeep thing. I think it was it might have been in the Siberia level. I can't remember exactly, where I thought I had to get over this like chasm. I thought I had to jump over it, and I just kept. And I did it. What I did was I did it the first time. So I played this, like I said before. I played on Steam Deck, so I did emulation. But I tried to do this like I would have with the console, and I didn't do save states or anything. I was just like playing through it. So God forbid you die, you have to start the whole section over again.
Yeah, that happened to me. It sucked.
Yeah, and you know what? In the early spots, it's like okay, it's not too bad. But when I got sort of in the latter half of the game, it was like, oh my God, I died a couple times. It's like I don't want to do this, and I put it down and played it again like later that day or something instead. But
that's an important thing to say. Like
yeah.
you're playing this game, you have to wait to save.
Yes,
there's like things that pop up to save the game. Like in Greece, I know it's like right after you defeat the boss, the thing pops up and you can save.
That's what it is through the whole thing. That's it.
But
that's the only way.
I didn't know that when I first started playing, and I played for like a solid amount of time, like 45 minutes to like an hour.
Yeah.
And I didn't beat that boss. I didn't like get to the end. I was just playing and exploring.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll come back and I'll, do the next objective. And then I came back and my game was just totally fresh again. And I was like really mad about that, actually.
Yeah. Well, because I think what it is the stuff we've been talking about with the map and with, potentially the objectives not being super clear sometimes or knowing where to go or whatever. The Greece areas are more simplistic if you compare it to later in the game, but at first you're still kind of trying to figure out what the fuck you're doing, right? Like, how does this game want me to find things? How does this game... And it doesn't quite explain that. Again, this is one of the things I've said a bunch of times. Maybe the manual does that. I don't know. But I'm sure it doesn't make a drastic difference because it's just that game. They want you to explore a little bit, but I could totally see that. Like, I played the first session for probably, say, like an hour, let's say. And I did get to the boss and I just happened to save. But that hour, I was close to putting it down before that until I got close to the boss. And I was like, oh, I might as well. And then I realized that's how the save mechanic works. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, glad you figured it out. Yeah.
It was just by chance. Like, it was just by chance. But you running into that, there's no way you're the only person who would be doing that. So
it doesn't feel right. It feels like if you have an explicit, like, this is the point where you need to save, I feel like the game needs to tell you that. Because if it doesn't tell you that, you're going to do exactly what I did, assuming that it saves. Because there are games that do that. Super Mario 64 did that.
Right.
And it's like you need to know those things because that just makes people like turns people off.
100%. Especially, I mean, they weren't thinking of this at the time, but especially nowadays, like, you're going into this thinking, oh, this feels like a semi-open world thing, which is kind of my thing at this point. Like, I love the way, for me, the sort of quote unquote classic open world stuff feels not my style at the moment, at least, or anymore. So the way that like God of War does it, for example, where there's almost like hub worlds or whatever, this kind of feels like that a little bit, where,
Okay.
you know, it's open world, but it's not like everything is connected in one piece. You can go to different areas or realms or whatever, depending on the game you're playing. And that is sort of like a self-contained area. You can save within that spot. There's separate missions within that spot. There's separate objectives within that. I like that. I don't know, for some reason, the flow of that just works better for me now.
I understand exactly what you're saying because I feel the exact same way. And God of War is a great example because it's separated areas that are just massive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine. They could be huge. They could be huge. And it can be somewhat linear. I don't care. That's fine. It doesn't bother me at this point anymore. But when it's just, hey, here's a giant map, go.
Yeah, Witcher 3.
Witcher,
I get overwhelmed. I like it, but I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, and technically, and depending on what game you're playing, like when it was made, there might be a lot of like busy work in it that is just like, oh, this is just filler, and this is bullshit at this point. Doesn't happen so much anymore, but it did for a time. And, you know, I say this thinking like, oh, but, you know, Tears of the Kingdom and the recent Legend of Zelda games, they somehow straddle that line pretty well, I would say. But this kind of feels like it's semi-hub world, but you still have to do a lot just to get to that save point. Like, too much. You have to play too much to get to that save point. So I think that, you know, long story long, I get it. Essentially.
Like, well, like Tears of the Kingdom and Spider-Man, like PS5 and stuff, that comes to mind. Like, you move really quickly, too. And there's fast travel options. You know, we don't have the luxury of fast travel or...
Right.
Like, our fast travel is hopping in a vehicle in this game. And unfortunately, maybe about 50% of the vehicles are fast.
Yeah.
There's a good chunk, like, as much as I like the tank, it's faster than running, but it's still not
everything is fast.
Yeah, everything's faster than running.
Fast.
But like you hop in a car and
dude, I hate the running so much.
Model Ts, you get like these little Model Ts.
Yeah, they are Model Ts. You're right. Yeah, because it's like the 40s or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So there's let me see. I'm trying to pull up the photo of all of it, but for some reason, Discord. I'm gonna stop the video and pull up the. Oh my god! I can see you. Pull up the actual thing because there's 60 vehicles or something. Some of them are variations of others, so it's not like a huge, massive
boats,
difference.
Planes,
boats,
like the
cars are kind of, the bikes are kind of the same, even though they're different. You know what I mean? Like they just look different.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if this works here. So if you're watching the stream, you can see it. But these are the vehicles, and there are so many of them. There's a bunch of helicopters, there's alien ones, there's human ones. Like, I don't think you can't control every single one of these, but you can control most of them. And it's just impressive that they have so many. And largely, I would say, even though there are some repeats, largely they all kind of feel a little bit different, I would say. Like,
slightly.
Yeah, depending on what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it is a little bit, I don't know if you notice, like some of the cars and like the bikes, for example, you're going so fast every time you like just tap the joystick, you're just like you're so
to that
janky back and forth.
I will say though, it's probably a better experience on the N64 for that reason, because the stick isn't as sensitive.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I really didn't have a hard time. Like on a bike is probably the worst handling out of anything. But
yeah, I wouldn't say it's a hard time.
But...
I just noticed that I needed to be more careful is what it was. But I noticed right away because, you know, you just compare it to stuff that's slower and things like
that. That's just probably something that, like, if you're emulating and you're playing with a modern joystick, the dead zone's a lot higher, you know. So
it's a digital joystick as opposed to the analog. Like there's a difference there. Yeah, exactly. I think you're right.
So
yeah. Anyways, I think it's pretty impressive that they have a lot of vehicles. You know, some of them really just get you from A to B, but I believe that all of them, you can either fire your own weapon or they have weapons of their own, like attached to it, like a cannon or whatever, right? So if you like the machine gun, for example, and you're on the bike, you're firing the machine gun while you're
Hop in the tank and use your pistol.
You could if you wanted to. I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah.
Or like the boats, for example, you're using your own weapons as opposed to, because you're in like a tugboat essentially. Is there like a tugboat in like Thomas the Train Engine or something? Is there a name for that guy?
I have no idea if there's one. I mean, there probably is. I
You're
didn't
too
really
young
watch
for
that.
Thomas the Train Engine.
Well, my brother loved Thomas the Tank Engine. He's 8 years younger than me.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My cousin
He
just
loved
told me
it.
that kids are watching Carmen Sandiego
What?
and Inspector Gadget nowadays. Yeah.
Whoa, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, his daughter is 7 or 8, and she's watching the original Inspector Gadget that me and my cousin used to watch in like '93. Like,
It's actually kind of awesome.
yeah, I was like, hell yeah. So I wrote back to, he took a picture for watching on the TV. I wrote back to him. I was like, well, with that theme song, how could you not want to watch that show?
Yeah.
It's the best.
Absolutely.
So there's variety there at least, and there's something about the game that it actually grew on me more. I think I played more through it more than you did. Like I got further into it or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
I honestly wish I had the time to go back and probably like finish it, for example. But it's probably just going to take too much time, and I just don't have that time. And I'm playing other games. We have other games for the show that we're going through, like things like that. But I think once I got the gist of what they wanted you to do and how they wanted you to do it, which, you know, maybe is not a high praise or whatever, I appreciated the game and I liked it more as I went on. And I was like, okay, I get it. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to work within the limitations of what this does and the PSA map animations and like the super slow running. Like there was just ways that I could find out how to get this done and get from A to B and stuff. Oh my God, the video I'm pulling up. Come on, video, work. You have to see this because you did not get to the, is it America that they call it, or Americas? One of the vehicles is an ice cream truck.
It's epic.
It's amazing. It moves super slow and it's super janky and everything, but hey, you get to drive an ice cream truck and shoot guns out of it.
Heck yeah. America.
It could be worse, right? America. Yeah, so there's
I mean, what you just said though.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Yeah.
I experienced pretty much the exact same thing. I played it. It was not gripping.
Okay.
It doesn't capture you. Like the premise of it, kind of awesome.
Yeah.
The concept of it,
Yep.
kind of awesome. The execution of it, kind of meh.
Okay.
Like it's a meh game.
Yeah.
It pretty much like from the gameplay to the graphics. Music wasn't super memorable, but it wasn't bad at all. It was just kind of like
I liked the music. I liked it.
I just can't remember it. I'm sure like it was fine.
I got it
but
somewhere. I'm gonna try and pull it up, but my stream thing is not working right now for some reason. Discord. This is gonna look great in the video version. It's all over the place.
There's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff in this game. It's just not. It's not. I'm not even gonna say it needed more time to cook. I think it needed Nintendo's hands off of it. Because
okay, so you think that's a bigger problem?
I think that was a problem. I think the RPG elements of it, even though like they weren't bad. If you took that out and you focused all your energy into the 3D world and exploring,
yeah,
like that's where the heart of this game is. It's where the action is, and it needs love. It needs love. And it's like it started off as this labor of love and just kind of evolved into this like we're just trying to finish this at this point.
Yeah, so it needs fine tuning, but also it feels like the longer they worked on it, the less productive they got with it. Does that make sense? You know?
Yeah, it's like the longer they worked on it, the less their vision was coming through, and the more it was just like, let's just do this, let's do this.
Yeah.
And like their team, like a bunch of their team just like quit because Nintendo like canceled another game and like took that team and was like, "Here, you're part of this team now." And it was like Nintendo just kind of steamrolled them, honestly. And yeah. It wasn't what Nintendo wanted it to be. It wasn't ever going to be what Nintendo wanted it to be, but Nintendo tried to make it what Nintendo wanted it to be.
Yeah.
It's just it almost makes you feel bad for it because you see where it was going. In a way, it's better than Earthworm Jim, but in a way it's reminding me of why I liked Earthworm Jim because I can see the vision.
Okay.
I can see it, and I'm like, oh, if they only could have implemented this well, I would have liked it so much more. This is better than that. I'm not saying that.
Okay, I was just going to say, do you think that this is better, or?
Oh yeah, I think this is way better than Earthworm Jim 3D. Okay. But
I mean, different games, but I get what you're saying. Yeah,
different games, but it's that like. It almost is. It could have been better.
Speechless.
I could see it.
Speechless.
I could see it. I'm like, man, that game could have been really epic.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. That's the thing is this is going for a pretty epic scale, like you said. I think scope is something that you said early on, which it's a great way to explain it. I think a great word to use as part of the explainer for this. It's getting there, but like a lot of games that we've talked about before, it just misses it just a touch due to limitations, due to meddling from a bunch of different people and companies and like things like that. So there's something there. I still think it's fun. I still think it's worth getting through, but do be aware that it is a little bit of a slog because of the choices that they were forced to make or the choices that they made, themselves, whatever it is. But I do think that there's some there. And I think there's something there. I don't know if it sticks to landing. It does basically, as the further along you go, the objectives don't change drastically. You're still going from spot to spot, killing the bugs. Yeah. There's body harvest things that happen. The buildings are a little bit different. Sometimes you have to get something to bring to someone in order for them to give you the key to get to the next area or to get, one's in a city, the other one's in a jungle, the other one's in, the winter Siberia, the other one's in Greece in the 40s. Okay, it's fine, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I don't think it's a remarkable game, but I liked it more than I did within that first hour. That first hour I was worried. I was like, ooh, this is not so good.
Yeah. So you gotta play for over an hour. That's what I'm getting from this. It's kind of like watching the first season of The Office. You're like, yeah, I could see it, but then you get to season 2 and it's way better.
Mm-hmm.
I can sell it to people in a way that I think they would like it. And the way to do that is it is Jet Force Gemini plus Blast Corps together.
That's another one. The sort of the look of the character and the look of the world and stuff looks like that game for sure. All the vehicles,
it basically,
like
it's like if Blast Corps had a 3D shooter element to it, like Jet Force Gemini. It's basically it's some weird mesh between the two.
I agree.
But then it's like it is, but you can see the Grand Theft Auto in it too. It's like kind of a weird. Yeah, and then for some reason RPG elements, which just make no sense. But they're few and far between. They don't add or subtract really. They're just there.
And honestly, unless you are familiar with, more open world RPGs, if those are like the thing you've played in the last, let's say 15 years or something, then maybe you'd recognize hints of it. Or if you looked up, development notes about this game like we have, then maybe you'd recognize it. But I think some people would play this and just be like, oh, this is weird. I just walked into this building, lit a candle and walked out and there was nothing there. Because sometimes there's buildings where there's literally nothing there. And like, why is this? Why?
I feel like I need to put a disclaimer now that I said it's Blast Corps plus Jet Force Gemini. It's Blast Corps, but not as good. And it's Jet Force Gemini, but not as good put together. There you go.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's this game.
Yeah. So it's...
And you look like Samus. I mean, you really do.
Orange Samus
armor.
without the arm cannon.
And you're a man.
And you're a guy,
Maybe that appeals to some of you.
Nah, it's less interesting. Let's be honest. The main character is not. It's nobody. Like it's just.
Yeah. What is his name again?
I don't know.
Exactly.
No, it does. It doesn't matter. Right? That's the thing. Like think it was about something like Samus is like she matters. Like from the beginning, it matters, right? Whether you knew it was her or not when you first played the older games, like it matters.
Yep.
Anyways, I would say check it out, but yes, unfortunately, you do have to get through some sloggy stuff, some slow-moving, weird choices. But I don't think this is a complete throwaway. I don't think you think that either, but I think I'm a little bit higher on it than you are. So
I think this is one game that I just personally like. My style of game, it just didn't grip me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I can look at this objectively and say it's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's not great, and it's not my style.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But like, take it or leave it, because I personally like. My hot take is I don't really find Grand Theft Auto that fun.
See,
so
GTA 3, I think, is the pinnacle of that franchise. So, but that's because I played it over and over.
Back in the day.
Like I could probably, I haven't played that game in probably at least 15 years. But when it came out, I had it not only for PlayStation. Eventually, I bought the PC version, even though my PC barely played it. I could probably pull that game up now and drive around the map and remember where everything is. I played that game so much.
I do remember having more fun with the older GTA titles, like GTA 3, GTA San Andreas,
Vice City.
like those.
Vice
City
City and 3 are like, to me, those two are. Yeah.
Because I got 4 and I remember playing that and thinking like, it was okay. And then I got 5 and 5 just got way oversaturated for me. And it ruined it.
I'm like, not a big fan of 5. Not a big fan of 5. Yeah. I never did the online. It's, you know what it is? It was a little bit cartoony. I mean, it still is, but like they went for like more realistic feeling. It's obviously not the real world, but like
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I want it to be silly if it's gonna be something.
Yeah. Why be Scarface like Vice City is? You know, like do that. Like that's great. This is not that, but okay. So every once in a while, we'd say like, "Hey, let's give it like a little bit of a rating." Do you want to throw a number out there, Jiggy, for out of 10?
Out of 10, I'm stuck at about a 6, somewhere around there. Okay, maybe a 5.5.
Okay, still higher than I thought you were gonna say. Yeah. Okay. I don't
think it's that bad.
If we're doing like just straight numbers, I would say a 7. If we're doing the 0.5s, it'd be like 7.5, somewhere in there. So no higher because, like you said, there's just other games that do similar ideas but better. But yeah, Body Harvest, pretty easy to find out there. It's not an expensive game if you're a collector and you want to find it. It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not expensive, so it's like just try it. Just get it, try it.
Yeah.
Worst case, hey, you have a game you don't really care about.
Yeah, hey, there's always a couple of
add
those.
Add it to the collection.
Yeah, if you have a big collection, it's just another one of those. So it doesn't really hurt you too much. I will say that if you are, I don't know how many listeners we have in Europe. You're lucky you got the better cover art. There's like
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Super Soldier guy in the front and like shit blowing up behind you and stuff.
Epic.
I think the whole like bug eating the planet thing on the North American box art is cool. It's kind of like eye popping, like whoa, giant bugs eating the world. I get it, but I don't know. It feels like this old like 80s action movie. And the other cover, and I find that to be more interesting.
Like the old Mega Man covers?
Yeah, like the old Mega Man covers. Which, like, who is this guy? Like, that's not Mega Man. Like, and like a lot of the ads were like that too. Made it look like this sort of like.
I wonder if that would have made a difference for me growing up, having the other art, because honestly, I remember seeing this game so much. I can't think of for the life of me why I never was interested in it. Why I was never like, I want to play this.
Yeah, honestly.
There's something that did that for me, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, same.
And maybe it was the art. Maybe I just looked at it and I was thought, it doesn't look that great. You know, because I myself am not super into sci-fi stuff. Like, my dad was all over it. My dad loves Star Wars, Star Trek, like everything. Like, I liked Star Wars probably more than a lot. Like, I like Star Fox.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I like star stuff, but animals
Yeah, I was like
space.
Aliens and Predator and stuff. Like, I'm more interested in it now than I was as a kid, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it just didn't grip me.
Yeah,
Not like a cartoon bear or blue hedgehog.
right.
That was real gaming.
The thing is too is like in a very similar way. If you saw this at the store and it was up at one of like the display things that you could try or was just playing on a screen, unless it was one of the scenes where there's a lot of shooting and the bugs exploding and stuff, I don't know that those in between things would really capture your interest as a kid. Like there's just
you like walking around, be like, what am I supposed to do?
I'm walking and talking to some guy in some church or some building, like maybe you'd see a vehicle and be like, cool, but a lot of games have vehicles, so like I think it's a hard sell as well, even though I still think that there's something interesting here, but I'm in my 30s, so it's a different story.
And going through just it being so hard to explain what to do, like to figure out what to do, where to go. Definitely a younger audience wouldn't be attracted to that. You'd play it to run around and kill the bugs.
Yeah.
And drive the vehicles and stuff, but you would not like
you wouldn't be progressing.
I'm speaking for myself. I would not be progressing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I probably would open the map, not like see the circle, be like, oh, I must have to go there, and then be just impossible to navigate because ADHD runs in my family. I don't think I have it, but I'm just saying, like, it's possible.
It's possible that's why. That's why. Yeah. You know what though? Like I'm older than you. I probably would not. It would probably be the same. Like these just were not. I've said it before. JRPGs, RPGs in general, it just wasn't. When this came out, I'm let's see, roughly 11, maybe 12, depending on when I would come across it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not at that age. You're not.
Yeah, I would have been
generally
5.
speaking. Yeah, generally speaking, you're not playing those types of games, right? Like you might see it and seem interested, but how many people at 5, 8, 10 years old are sinking time into like, Chrono Trigger and understanding what they're doing?
Right.
No, like
not me.
It's cool.
Not this kid.
100% not me. I didn't play that until I was in my 20s. So, like there's elements of that here. I think you're right. So anyways, Body Harvest, everybody, worth a check. See if it works for you. Get through that first hour and then kind of go from there. It's worth a try. So
and keep this in mind because I think it would really improve the game. And you hear me out on this because I just had this thought. What if there were rings that showed you where you needed to go? That could have been it. That's the solution.
Then why didn't it steal ideas from better games? Like Blast Corps, Jet Force Gemini, and there's one I can't put my finger on what ring simulator game exists on this console that they could have grabbed that idea from, but I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I think I got it.
If only, man. Maybe someone will do a remake and there will be rings everywhere. Also, that's
perfect.
another thing.
That's the perfect game.
It's perfection. This is one of those games that it'll never happen, but this is one of those games that if they remade it, they could do something pretty interesting and epic with it, I think. So, we'll see. Anyways, Body Harvest, but we have a couple of pretty good games also coming up to keep starting up 2025. Some guests coming up as well with a couple of those games, which would be great, and some big hitter titles as well. More of those. So lots to get excited for Remember 64. Until that time, Jiggy, what's on the docket in the early little bit of 2025? I know we sort of record these ahead of time, but what's the dealio? How's it going over there on the YouTubes?
Oh, on the YouTubes are going great as usual. I got a bunch of stuff in the pipeline. The biggest thing that it'll definitely be out by the time this airs.
Great.
This is the latest thing I'm working on is a sort of mini, like 15, 20-minute documentary style sort of thing on my perspective of the whole Microsoft buyout of Rare. And if that is basically coming from the perspective of, like, I hear everyone all the time say that Microsoft buying Rare killed Rare.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, did it though? And so,
You're looking
I'm
into
going
it.
through and I'm looking into it. I'm diving in. I'm looking at like prototype games, Microsoft's influence on games that were in development at Nintendo that kind of transitioned into Microsoft titles,
Nice.
and then like down the pipeline, rare titles that came out and like how Microsoft was involved, if that affected anything, and just kind of where Rare's at today, which is kind of like
Sea of
an
Thieves
interesting
company.
yeah, a Sea of Thieves company, yes, essentially.
Yeah.
But they did tease Everwild for this last holiday, which kind of like blew my mind because
Oh, I
we've
didn't
heard
know
nothing
that.
of
Oh,
we've heard nothing of this game for years, and I'm like, it's probably canceled. They're probably like in typical Rare fashion, they show us something and then it just never
it
happens.
just fizzles or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. But they just randomly released like a Happy Holidays image. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And it's just Everwild, and I'm just like, how is no one talking about this? And I'm
Am I
like
the
sharing
only
it
one?
everywhere. I'm the only one that's looking at this right now.
Maybe that's the problem. Is you are the only
But
one.
I hope it comes out, and I hope it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Hey, if
That's
I'm the
interesting.
only one, I guess I'm the only one.
That's really cool that you're going through all that because it's a little nuance of the industry type of thing, right? And that's cool. I like that stuff. I appreciate that stuff. So
It's fun looking at all the like prototype footage of games,
Nice.
like hypothetical
nice.
prototypes. Like Cameo was a GameCube game.
Yep.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies was a GameCube game. Seeing all that footage, going through Dinosaur Planet, which I've been streaming.
Yep.
The original build of Star Fox Adventures. So I will be streaming that as well. I'll probably be doing that for the foreseeable future. I don't know how many streams I got in me of
Yeah.
it, but it's pretty fun. So just cool stuff. So yeah,
Nice.
fun.
Nothing that elaborate over it on the YouTube page for Remember 64, but you can always watch video versions of this. I'm also trying to do like small things here and there that like, oh, hey, I have a cool idea like this. I'm just going to make something quickly if I have the time and stuff. That's kind of, it's just a place to sort of dump different ideas. I have a video up of some of my time playing the HD PC port of Star Fox 64.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I basically built it as like a comparison so you can see me playing it on the actual cartridge, and then you can see above the PC port difference. It's all in HD.
Ooh.
It's in the video. It's not in 60 frames or 120 frames per second, but it's able to run at 120 FPS, which if you're an FPS person,
insane.
it's so smooth. The textures are improved, the audio's, but it's and everybody, I would say pretty much everybody loves that game, or most people do. It's just
super
it's worth
interested
playing.
in that.
Yeah, it's worth playing again just for that. It takes a couple you download it from itch.io and you sort of play around with a couple of the files that they sort of give you the instructions on, and you just play it. That's it. You play it like you would play it normally, and that's it. A little bit weird not playing it with an N64 controller, I have to say, because I just didn't have my USB 64 controller sort of at the ready at the time. But yeah, so you can
Always
do it.
have one.
Yeah,
Always have one.
I have an
Never leave
adapter.
home without it.
I have an adapter. That's the thing, and I don't know, it's buried somewhere in my stuff. So
gotcha.
so I played it with an Xbox controller, which was odd, but it's still Star Fox 64. So so you can check that out.
Cool.
That's a few minutes, and then Remember 64 show on Patreon and on social media. I will stop talking. Thank you, everybody. I am exhausted. Thank you for. It's been one of those days. Great episodes coming up.
It's been one of those 6 months.
It's been one of those 6 months. Today is just another one of those 6 months. Out of all the 6 months, the last 6 months was one of them. Okay, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I don't know. Talk to you next time, everyone. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.